Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, today I'm going to take a look at a new little mini drone from Holystone. This is the HS430. Let's briefly take a look at the box and then we'll take a look at the drone. Now this is just going to be the table view and overview of this drone. It's been extremely windy outside, 20 to 30 mile per hour winds last few days. Even though the weather's starting to improve and finally starting to get warm, I can't fly a little drone like this with brushed motors in any kind of wind like that. So let's get the table review out of the way, then we'll follow up with the flight review. So if you're only interested in the flight review, then you can skip this video. Stay to the channel, because in a few days I will certainly get this up in the air. I think around Wednesday, today's Monday, it's supposed to be 5 to 8 mile per hour wind or something that we should be manageable, hopefully, for this little drone. So again, this is the HS430. As you can see down here, it says it's a mini drone. Again, this is from Holystone, ages 14 and up. They put a few of the specifics on here on the box. I think it was on this side where they mentioned that it has it's foldable HD camera, has a circle fly and a high-speed rotation mode. Circle fly is going to do a circle motion, and its high-speed rotation is going to be just like an auto yaw. It's a little gimmick that some of these manufacturers have added to some of these littler drones like this. So as we can see, this is extremely small. No gimmicks. There's no optical flow. Of course, there's no GPS. Again, it's just brushed motors. Has a little HD camera, and you do have to adjust it to the angle you want it to film at. You cannot change that remotely. This should just be a little fun flyer, hopefully. Again, no frills, no gimmicks. It just has altitude holds. About the only smart sort of feature, I guess you could call it, that this drone has. So you fold out the arms like this, and you can see it's in that MAVIC Mini, mini style of a MAVIC drone that they're looking for with this guy. It looks like it's going to have LED strip light here in the front, and it probably has something in the back, and your on and off buttons here. We'll try to put a battery in maybe in a moment and just power it up, even though the batteries are not charged. And this is extremely lightweight, super lightweight. I think that's cool, that big on and off button it has on the bottom. Let's just weigh this real quick, because this is going to weigh absolutely nothing. So here's my scale. And let's go ahead and let's fold the arms back in so we get the whole drone on there. But this is going to be well below 250. So there should be no problems flying this anywhere in the world with any, you shouldn't worry about any regulations. So it is 53 grams, literally 200 grams under the limit. So this is just absolutely weighs nothing, and it certainly falls under the mini drone category. They give you 3 of these LiPo batteries, and these are, and it's going to probably be hard to read on the camera, but these are 3.85 volts, it says, and these are 730 milliamp on this, so you're not going to be able to see that in the camera. So that's going to be, you know, that's more the storage voltage rated, but this is a 1S LiPo. So what this is, you wouldn't see a 2S on something like this, except for maybe some little brushless whoop. So you get 3 of these batteries, so you get a lot of flight time. I'm sure this is going to fly pretty long on that. And then you get 3 of them. You do only get 1 charger, and that charger uses a micro USB cable. So on the battery somewhere on here, there's going to be a port for that to plug in. It's actually right there. It's kind of hard to easy to miss. It's right below the 3-prong that actually powers the drone up. You have the little micro USB right there. So you're going to plug that in. Let me show you. You're going to plug it in. It should be like this. Then plug it into your USB. We'll see. I haven't obviously charged it yet. There's going to be some sort of lights in here, I'm sure. Unless the battery, sometimes the batteries will light up and let you know, but I don't see any place for that. Most likely it'll be inside of here. And that'll let you know that the battery's charging, and the light will change to let you know when it's finished. The instruction manual will state that as well. So you get 3 of those batteries. You get prop guards if you want to use those. If you fly this indoors, which is certainly, you know, probably meant to be more of an indoor flyer, you probably want to put those on so you don't hit the wall, scuff the props up, or bust them. But if you're going to fly it outside, I would avoid these, because this is easy to get caught up in a tree. It's sort of like an ornament hanger. You end up getting the drone caught in a tree, and you may have no chance of getting it back if it's up very high. So this is more meant for indoors. They only give you 2 spare of these fold out props, so you have a clockwise and a counterclockwise. So it would be good for, you know, either one of the top left, bottom right. Well, it's going to be opposite diagonally for one of these, for the props. So that's how that works on drones. They don't give you a full set, unfortunately, but most likely you're not going to need to replace all your props on the drone. It'd be a pretty bad crash. And they do give you your Phillips screwdriver to remove the props. You get one of these with anything RC that you buy nowadays from China. And now let's take a look at the controller. The controller is meant for your phone. It has a phone clip holder, so this is Wi-Fi based. You're going to be able to record that HD video. So HD would imply this is probably a 720p camera on here. And you're going to record that over the Wi-Fi to your phone. There's no SD card slot, that's what I'm getting at. There's no micro SD, so you're going to be recording just over the Wi-Fi connection between the drone and the phone that you want to put in the phone clip holder. Now, the app that you're going to use for this drone is the Holystone FPV. So I'll put a screenshot of the Holystone FPV app up here. You can scan that QR code from the instruction manual, and it'll take you straight to the Play Store or to the iOS App Store for Apple to get to that app. So you just open that up, and I'll show you that when we get out to actually do the flight. I'll probably screen record that, possibly. Sometimes I don't, it depends. But it's going to be the same feed you see in the app. It's the same feed it's going to save to the gallery in your phone, except for you won't have the icons from the app in it. That's going to be the only difference. So Holystone FPV is the app. Now, I did look over the controls before I started this, but I'm going to pull out the manual again just to make sure I don't tell you guys anything incorrect about the controls of this drone. So up here on the top left, this is going to be your short press for your photo, and a long press will do your video recording. And the app will start probably flashing and let you know you're recording. You could also start that by just pressing that button within the app. You don't have to use the button on here. I find that on the Wi-Fi base, it's safer to use the app, because I've seen more years ago, not so much recently, times where the button wouldn't want to work with the app, which totally defeats even having the button on here. But to be safe, I would use the app. Now down here, you've got a headless mode is your short press, and that headless mode lets you fly with, so you don't have to know orientation. I don't personally test that because that's a complete beginner's method, but you don't ever learn orientation, how to fly, so I never advise using that. Now, long press will enter you into trimming mode, and what trimming mode does is you'll long press it, it'll probably beep, and then you can trim, like your roll and your pitch. Usually you don't have to. You could probably do yaw. Some drones they give you that option, some don't. So it's going to be allows you to trim. It doesn't have the actual trimmer buttons, which I prefer on this controller. On that, and then on the top right, you've got those circle and auto yaw modes. So a short press will be the high-speed rotation, and then a long press will be the circle fly on those two different modes, which we will test when we do the flight review. And the bottom here, you've got your one-key takeoff and your one-key landing right here. And a long press will do emergency stop on that, and it will motor kills what that is. In case you're going to crash, you can kill the motors. But a short press will let you take off, and a short press again will land the drone while it's in the air. Now we'll have to see, does that start the prop? Sometimes you have to do like both sticks in or something like that to start the motors, and then you press it to take off. So we'll have to see when we get out and fly which way that method actually is for this little guy. So that pretty much covers the controller. There is a dial up on top, but it's fixed. So this is obviously that they use this with some other models. This would be something that would be like for rotating the camera, which would be on a much higher end drone than that. And I don't know if they tell us in here if there's gyro calibration on this. That's one thing I didn't see when I was flipping through it. But they usually will tell you when you're going to first fly the drone. Up and down is of course going to be your bind sequence. Up, down, it usually blinks or flashes. Calibrating gyro is right here. Both sticks down and to the right, so it's going to be like this to do a gyro calibration. That's the standard old-fashioned way I like that most drones used to use. So down, both sticks to the right will calibrate the gyro. You should do it the first time you fly it, first time out of the box, and then if you have a bad crash, because the drone may lean or drift really bad on you if the gyro gets messed up inside. So make sure that you do calibrate it after a crash, and especially the first time that you do fly it. And it is both sticks down and in to actually unlock the props and manually take off, and probably to do auto takeoff too. Usually we'll have to unlock it, but not always. We'll see when we get outside. You've got a low and a high rate here. I just noticed in the middle, which I just about overlooked, so you can go between low and high. So it's got two rates. If you're going to fly this outside and it's windy, you definitely want to go, in my windy I mean 5 to 8, 10 mile per hour wind. Above 10, it doesn't matter, you're not going to be able to fly this. It's going to get pushed away at 53 grams. But in a little bit of breeze, you want a high rate. If you're indoors, you can go low. And of course, there is your power button in the middle. So now we have covered all the buttons, because I just about missed those in the middle of the controller. That should be everything on this guy. Looks pretty basic, but I kind of like that. We don't need all these fancy features, because sometimes they don't work that great on these toy grade stuff. And of course that adds extra cost to it. Let's keep something low cost like this that's fun to go out and fly. Honestly, I'd be just fine if they didn't even have a camera with this, because this camera is not going to be great. Even if it looks decent, it's over Wi-Fi, so you're going to be prone to drop frames and just probably not the greatest frame rate. So I would prefer not even have a camera, but they give you that option. But it's just a basic drone. This should be a whole lot of fun to fly, and just be realistic about your expectations. This is not going to be a drone that's going to go out and do DJI Mini 2, Mini 3, Mini Original, any of those type of flight capabilities and video most of all. This is not going to have, there's no gimbal, so it's going to be very, very shaky, probably have a jello in it. It's just for a little bit of fun at a very low cost. So if you're interested in this drone, I'll put a purchase link down in the video description, but I would consider holding off until I get the flight review to make sure everything works right and make sure that I think the drone is worth the money. And then you might want to consider buying this drone, because the Holy Stone stuff is very popular on Amazon, which is their primary place it's sold. And it's just, they have good customer service, and they're very easy to work with if there's any problems. And of course Amazon is as well, so you don't have to worry about any problems. If the drone has a problem, you'll have no problem getting one back, and it'll be available with 2-day prime shipping. All right guys, that wraps up the unboxing overview for the HS430 mini drone from Holy Stone. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. While you're at it, click that bell so you're notified every time I do upload a new video. And stay tuned for that flight review, guys. So have a wonderful day.
The power of the dark side.